What are the top reason a candidate fails the background verification? Exactly, any company runs and completes the background verification.
Around 35 plus verifications are available in the market to verify a candidate. This is where the candidate have tempered the entire degree certificate. In employer verification, we check the authenticity of the employer. Education verification mainly starts with universities and colleges. We identified that that person is actually working for 25 companies.
So he himself became an employer.
And at that time, the case was published in all media articles, news. So at the time of verification, if you want an experience letter for almost 10 years, you can just reach out to them. They will charge a X number of fee to you. You have to pay it. Get the experience letter from them. He has actually fooled his previous employer, replaced some cash from the accounts book and something. He have made such goof-ups, and that's the reason the future opportunities of that employee got hampered. In criminal check, there was one case where the candidate was a part of a drug smuggling.
If any company who is laying off so many employees, like 500, 600 employees, they do help for all those candidates?
If you are a requester, you have to pay a X amount. Then you'll get the verification response for that particular employee. So earlier it was done through papers where all the documentation to be submitted to the employer in a hard copies.
Which is the best stage to complete the background verification?
So as per the industry practice and what I would suggest, background verification should be performed at the time. The biggest myth is that background verification is to perform
one verification check. No company should. One red flag recruiters ignore too often. Speaking and asking on behalf of CHROs. Hiring processes can take months, but one wrong hire can cost company money as well as the reputation. That's where the background verification comes, as it acts like a business safeguard. So today, in our episode of Insight Exchange, we have a guest who has a lot of experience in this process. Be with us if you are a company, HR, or anyone who just wants to know about how different processes operate. Hey Sanyam, welcome to our show. So if I talk about the background verification in a simple word, it is a process to verify any candidate, whatever he is claiming to be. How do you provide a definition to background verification in a simple word, just for our audience?
Thanks, Prabhat, for having me on the show. So to help you more about background verification, I'm just taking an example. So post-COVID, the companies were hiring for remote roles. And there was one guy who saw an opportunity and applied for so many roles in so many different companies and got hired for so many of them. He got paid. He have started working for almost so many companies and he is getting paid for all of them. So how you think he is able to perform all the actions for all such companies in a day shift of 9 hours?
So you are telling me that he got hired in multiple companies?
Yes.
Okay. And he was working for all of them?
Yes.
So maybe 3-4 companies and he was working 2 to 3 hours each for every company?
See, so he got hired for almost 25 companies in his entire journey.
My God.
And he have hired 7-8 people for his own setup. So all those 7-8 people who are working for him, okay, he is getting paid for all of them. He's just paying the salaries to all of them.
So he himself became an employer?
Yes. And so after so many years, there was one company, he applied for it, that opportunity, and that company have performed the background verification. They want to verify the credentials. And at that time, the case was published in all media articles, news, employer, everywhere in the market. And that's the reason we identified that that person is actually working for 25 companies. So here the main use case of background verification is.
So he actually fooled so many companies.
Yes.
My God. So now our audience must realize how important the background verification is. Yeah. So how exactly any company runs and completes the background verification? Can you tell me how many other ways to do it?
So it's a very vast process around 35 plus verifications are available in the market to verify a candidate. However, it's completely depends on the industry levels. So if you talk about IT industry, in IT industry 7 8 verifications are there. If you go on healthcare industry, 5 7 verifications are there. And if you go on about the standard verification, so it's almost around 4 to 5 verifications, and they are commonly used in the market.
Okay, can you give me an example how every these common practices are being followed and how exactly they are getting completed?
See, so the very common verifications in the market are 4 to 5. And it starts with the employment verification, then comes the education verification, then comes court verification, or we call it as criminal verification, then comes address verification, and the very last is the fifth verification is ID verification. So I'm just helping you understand more in detail about all such verifications. The very first is employment verification. So
Okay.
employment verification basically starts and performed basis on the waterfall model. That waterfall model starts with the HR, then comes with RM, then comes UAN, then Form 16, bank statement, and a field visit. Field visit is something depends on the employers or the customer's requirement. Okay, so there was one case. I'm just taking a small example here to help
Okay.
you understand better about employment
Better.
verification. So there was one case where the employee have made some goof ups in his previous company in terms of cash management, and he's trying to hide that goof up from his current employer or the new employer where he is going to join.
Right.
So at the time of background verification, when we initiate the process, the HR respond back to us. We initiated an email request to the HR. This HR respond back to us, and in that email response, the HR responded with a detailed version what that employee have done in his previous company. He has actually fooled his previous employer
Mhm.
and replace some cash from the accounts book and something. He have made such goof ups, and that's the reason the future opportunities of that employee got hampered.
Okay, first of all, that counts like, second example why the background verification is very important.
Yes, actually.
And just one question in it. If any company who is, laying off so many employees, like 500, 600 employees, average hire and retire ratio is it? So they must be getting a lot of calls. So they do help for all those candidates.
So nowadays in the market, the background ex-employee verification platforms are available. So many companies are there in the market. They are having their own SaaS products.
Hmm.
So many of them, I'm having some names in my mind. Is having e-locker. We call it as ex-employee verification platform. Having work attest, and so on. So every company is having their ex-employee verification platforms where you have to, if you are a requester, you have to pay a X amount, then you'll get the verification response for that particular employee.
Okay, okay,
So in
okay.
this way, the companies are also earning by providing the verification to the requester.
Right, right. Okay. And this is for the employment verification.
Yes.
And how you do rest of the verification?
So the second common verification is education verification.
Okay.
Education verification mainly starts with universities and colleges. So the verification first process is to go on the official website and get the verification done through online sources. The second most common process is field visit, where the field partner visits the university and get the verification done. And the third, but rarely used, is email verification, because very rare universities and colleges respond to the email while verifying the details. So to help you more understand about education verification, there is an example. So in my past, I've seen one case where the candidate have tempered the entire degree certificate and final year mark sheet.
Okay.
Okay. That documents have been submitted to us for verification. We have initiated a field visit, and at the time of field visit, our field partner will take a printout of that document and get the stamp done from the university. So at the time of stamp, the registrar confirms us that no such candidate was have studied in that university, no such records were found, and due to which the education verification has been marked as failed for that particular employee.
Okay. So all those universities as well, they do charge the background
Yes.
verification companies, or They just normally help out.
No. Universities also charge. So there are so many universities having their own fees, and those fees are available on their official websites. So I'm having one name in my mind, university. They basically charge 3,000 rupees per verification.
3,000 per verification.
Per verification.
My God. Okay. Okay, fine. And
the third common verification is criminal check. So criminal check is basically performed basis the e-court website, and it's a government publicly available domain where a person can easily enter his personal details. Starts with candidate name, address, location, father's name, and date of birth, and gets the report. So it's not a general report. It's basically a permutation, combination, and algorithm both. So the system will run an algorithm in backend and give you the some available details, if any. So in such scenario, I'm having one example about criminal check. In criminal check, there was one case where the candidate was a part of a drug smuggling.
Okay.
And at the time of verification, we were unable to identify that. We have submitted a green report to our customer that no such case identified in the system. After some time, the customer have submitted us the case studies, the articles, and everything, stated that actually the candidate is a drug smuggler. You can just revalidate the case in detail. So we have initiated a detailed verification. We have initiated a FIR copy verification, court judgments, and field visits. So many things were happened at that time. And after all such things, we got to know that the candidate is actually a part of drug smuggling, and the candidate was wronged higher by us. So we have given a red report, and the reason behind all this mismatch is due to the incomplete information available in police records. Because we first verify the criminal database from the police records. The initial data details collected in the police records will be there in court records also.
Right.
So the initial database was not updated correctly. That's the reason the details available in ID proof were not matching details available in police records. And that's the reason the case was not identified in initial stage.
Okay, so how exactly you countered that it is a genuine case rather a red flag case?
So
you discussed with the police authorities first, or how?
No. We perform it through e-court website, as I told you earlier. So we perform it directly with e-court site, and it's a digital verification. It hardly takes 4 hours of time. So nowadays companies are advertising that they'll complete the court verification in 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, and 24 hours as well. So if you are opting a detailed court verification, it may take 24 hours. But if you are opting a digital verification, it hardly takes 4 hours or less than that. So we have done it through e-court website, and there's a reason the case was not identified properly. But while initiating a detailed verification on that, we got to know that the candidate is actually a part of drug smuggling case.
Okay.
Then comes the fourth verification, and it's address verification. So address verification generally used for the employers providing a remote to their employees working from home and all of this, because somehow if a candidate have made some goof-ups and not returned back the assets of the company, so that the company may visit to the provided address and get their assets back from the candidate. So to verify address details, we first perform a physical visit. So there are two different modes in address verification. Address verification have two different modes: physical verification and digital address verification. Physical address verification means where our field partner visits the address location, provided address location, capture the longitude and latitude of that address, and then complete the report after taking a picture of the home nameplate and other things. In digital address verification, the candidate will get or receive a link from our verification team. In that link, the candidate have to click login and upload the home pictures ID proof and capture the system will automatically capture the longitude, latitude, and completes the verification. So this is a digital process, and physical visit is a manual process. So this is how we are completing address verification. So the last common verification is ID verification. In ID verification, all the sources are publicly available by government. So we verify Aadhaar verification, PAN verification, driving license, and voter ID. And all these sources to verify such identity proof are available publicly. These are government public domains. where you have to just enter the ID number and you'll get a authentication verification done from there directly.
I hope the government doesn't charge
No,
the background
government doesn't
verification
charge
charges.
anything.
Fine.
You will just receive an OTP.
Yeah.
Once you enter the OTP, you'll get your verification done.
Okay, fine. So now to verify all these, e-codes, let's suppose if the data is not available in e-codes, then in address verification, one must go to the physical location, right? So do you think this is a challenge for background verification processes, or if there are any other challenges that you see?
So actually, in the industry, it's a challenge while visiting the provided address details. Why? Because at the time of verification, I'm just taking an example. So in address verification, majorly we are visiting to the provided address details, not in code. So code verification is majorly done through digital modes. Physical modes are very less, and for that we are having our partners available.
Okay.
So in address verification, we are visiting to the provided addresses to verify the details, and in that sense, sometimes the biggest challenge is that the employee or the relatives are not responding while visiting. So the field partner is trying to reaching out to them to locate their provided address details. However, that person is not answering the call. So that, and this challenge majorly happens in tier 2 and tier 3 towns. This is for address verification.
Okay.
Now comes employment verification as well. In employment verification, we must visit the provided address details to verify the employer's location, that company is available on that provided address or not. And this is basically depends on the customer request only. Sometimes there are companies majorly in the market, those are providing fake experience letter. Shell companies are there. They are providing fake experience letter. They are actually not available on that provided address, the address mentioned on the experience letter. So at the time of verification, if you want an experience letter for almost 10 years, you can just reach out to them. They will charge a X number of fee to you. You have to pay it, get the experience letter from them. Okay. And in that experience letter, there must be an address and there must be a email ID for verification purpose. And they clearly mention it. For verification purpose, please reach out. This is the email ID. So as a background verification company, you will first of all reach out to the details available on the experience letter.
Yeah.
You have reached out to them, you'll get a verification response. However, after the verification, you must perform an employer verification. So employee verification and employer verification as well. So in employee verification, we verified the employee's detail. In employer verification, we check the authenticity of the employer, that employer is authentic in the market or not. So we are performing that check using MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. All are the government domains: Ministry of Corporate Affairs, EPF deduction, domain, GST filing, and so on. So in this part, we are also having a field visit.
Okay.
So we are just visiting the address, validating if that company is available on that address or not. If available, so the field partner must capture the board image, take confirmation from the guard available, and come back. And they also try to visit the office premises to get more details from the reception. However, if that is not possible, then no problem. We have already done the verification. But if the company is not available on that address,
right,
so then how come the verification has been received to us? So this is the biggest challenge we are facing.
So for all those cases, you just simply put all these details on the report, and now it is up to the employer whether he or she, whether they accept the candidate or not, right? Because
Correct.
this is the maximum any background verification company could do.
Correct.
Okay, right. And so you have been in this industry for so many years. How you have seen the evolution in this industry?
So see, in the past 5-10 years of tenure, this company have evolved from a paperwork process to a paperless process. So earlier it was done through papers where all the documentation to be submitted to the employer in a hard copies. The employer will initiate a verification, the field partners visits the office, get the stamp and come back. So this is how the earlier background verification process ran. Nowadays, all things are digitized. You have to submit a soft copy. The soft copy will directly transfer to the background verification agency. That background verification agency perform it using the public domains and submits the reports in 24 to 72 hours for all the digital verifications. So this is how the entire industry evolves from paperwork process to paperless process.
Okay. Another question comes to my mind is uh, few companies consider the background verification at the time of joining, few after the joining, so that he the candidate he can work for 1 or 2 months. Meanwhile, the background verification completes. So, as per you, which is the best stage to complete the background verification?
So, as per the industry practice, and what I would suggest, background verification should be performed at the time of offering a candidate. Why? Because at the time of offering a candidate, the HR must know about the candidate background details, which may include the ID details, whatever the employee have submitted, about the court cases, because all these things are digitally available and can be done in 24 to 72 hours. And if an employer is hiring a candidate for remote role, then in that case, face match verification is also required. And this can only be done at the time of interview. The HR must capture the image of that employee and share it with the BGV agency. So BGV agency will perform a face match verification using that image and the image available on ID proof, and they will give the percentage score to the employer, and using which they can hire a candidate. This entire digital process will only take 24 to 72 hours, and thus much of time the candidate may wait to accept the or to get the offer letter from the company.
Right. Okay. And while doing all these things, from the first step to last step, what do you see is the common missing step from the employers?
So the very common missing steps in the entire process is nowadays employers are only aiming to verify the documents, to get authentication on the documents, to verify the details from the employers or the other parties' digital sources, but they are missing the main part is the employment gap.
Okay.
There may be a case where the employee have leave a company, X company, in 2024 and joined a new company in 2026 as per the records, as per the data, whatever he or she have submitted to you. What if between 24 to 26 he or she must have worked somewhere, must have done some goof ups, and there's the reason he or she have hide that employment. So if the employer will start investigating that part as well, so they'll got to know more about the candidate and safeguard their company's reputation as well.
Okay. And speaking in terms of candidates, uh, what are the top reason a candidate fails the background verification?
So basically, it's not the intentional part. Some majorly, and as per the industry practice, it's a accidental.
What could be the percentage for that?
So large area is with accidental part, but however, as per company standards and what I have learned about after my experience so many years, 10 to 12% of verification discrepancies are due to intentional basis only. Why? Because employees try to hide their designation, change their designation, update their salary slips, tamper those documents, update their percentage in the education documents, hide their court cases. So due to which this all happens.
Okay. Uh, can you tell me about some myths, or what are the biggest myth in this whole background verification process?
So the biggest myth in the HR industry. So we were discussing about background verification, but HR industry also plays a major role. So in terms of HR industry or HR processes, HR operations, the biggest myth is that background verification is to perform to catch the wrong things and to reject the candidates, to catch the frauds and reject the candidates. However, background verification is only to perform, build trust in the candidate and hiring the right people for company reputation.
Correct.
It's not all about to catch frauds and reject the candidates.
Okay. Speaking and asking on behalf of CHROs, what are the top KPIs that HR leaders should track about the background verifications?
So in the industry of background verification, top 4 KPIs are available. The very first is the turnaround time. So turnaround time is basically to capture the completion of a verification. Okay. Next one is the verification completion rate. Under verification completion rates, CHROs may evaluate the completion rate of their hiring candidates. so that they will offer the candidates so efficiently and hire them. The very first third one is the discrepancy rate. So they'll got after in discrepancy rate they'll got to know about the percentage of discrepancies they are getting, and using this they can just identify from where they are hiring and what is the major reason they are getting discrepancies.
Okay.
The very last is the candidate retention rate.
Okay.
Due to this background verification process, there must be chances due to the delay in background verification, the candidate may reject the offer or join somewhere else.
Right. Right.
So this is the biggest reason. If the background verification turnaround time is perfect, verification completion rate is perfect, discrepancy ratio is in line, in that case the fourth pointer will never be there.
Okay. Okay. And in considering they are very important KPIs, what do you see is the most important but oftenly it is missed?
See, so in the entire industry, what I see is the discrepancy over severity matrix.
So this KPI is important as well as ignored.
Yes, actually. Why? Because discrepancies may be any.
Okay.
There must be very large number of scenarios, conditions where an employee may be considered as discrepant in background verification. However, if we justify all the scenarios basis their severity matrix is basically the scenarios against the color codes. So if we call it as that the employee have done some tempered the salary slip.
Right.
If that salary slip was tempered for almost 5%, then it's not a discrepancy. It can be a minor mistake from an employer as well at the time of publishing the salary slip. So how we are able to identify or justifying that the employee have done the GoFup and here's a failed BGV, he or she is having a failed BGV.
Okay.
It must be a amber report, a orange report, where we can just say it can be an employee's GoFup or it can be a mistake from the employer's end. However, if that percentage is increased for more than 5%, 10%, 15%, in that case, it's a major mistake by the employee only. No company will update the salary slip for 10-15%.
Right. Right. So let's suppose you get the candidate as a red flag, or it turns out to be a poor background verification for that candidate. How does it impacts? How actually it does impacts the company?
So it directly impact the company's image. It will also impact the audit failures for future. Okay. It will also, the major impact will be on the hiring part. So if a failed verification been done and you have hired that candidate, it will impact your hiring process as well. Just take an example here. Suppose you have hired a HR. Okay. That HR is having a failed background verification. Somehow you have ignored it. You have continued with that employee. Okay. That HR holding a fake degree. How come he is a good interviewer for the future hirings? So it will also impact your hiring process.
Right.
Because HR also plays a major role in audits. If he is not aware about the details and nothing, so how come he is able to perform that audit and perfectly close that audit part? Audit failure is also there.
Okay.
So due to these some parameters, the fake HR or the fake discrepancies in the reports, the discrepancies in the report may impact the company's reputation as well, the entire company reputation.
Okay, understood. So Sanyam, tell me, according to you, what is the best turnaround time for the background verification company? I have seen personally, in my experience, I have seen candidates being verified for more than 30 days as well, right? So as per you, in your experience, what do you consider?
So in the industry, I would suggest, and it's a basic practice in the market, 10 to 12 business days is perfect time to verify a candidate except current employment.
Okay.
Current employment means the recent one, what you have, from where you have get relieved, and this is a timing you're joining a new company. Okay. And for the digital verification, the companies must take 24 to 72 hours to verify all such details and submits the report. The turnaround time to verify the current employment is almost 45 to 60 days. Why? because the recent company what you have from where you have just relieved, okay, you will get your experience letter after 45 days,
Right.
and those 45 days is the period of your FNF. So
Yeah.
the company processing your FNF will not provide the background verification response to anyone in the market. Okay. The new employer will also wait for 45 days. Once you get your experience letter, then only the background verification got initiated for that particular employment verification. And this process, 45 days to get the experience letter, 10 to 12 days to get the verification done. Okay. It's almost 60 days.
Right.
So for a single employment, it's 60 days, and for the entire process, the industry practice call it as 10 to 12 working days. For digital verifications, it may be 24 to 72 hours.
So let's move to our rapid fire segment. I'll ask few questions and you can reply, you can answer
Sure.
within 1 or 2 words.
Sure.
One verification check no company should skip.
Employment and court criminal check.
Biggest hiring risk companies underestimate.
Bad hiring.
Manual or automated, future belongs to what?
Automated.
One red flag recruiters ignore too often.
Inconsistency.
Okay. Now let's move to the final part of our show where we'll just conclude some advices for our viewers. So what advice would you give to our CHROs reviewing their BGV strategy this year?
So, see, BGV is actually not a basic HR process. BGV plays a very important role in terms of company's image, in terms of audit trails, and everything. So don't consider it as a basic HR operations part. Consider it as a process where you are just hiring a best candidate for your future company's growth.
Okay, the last question. One thing that every founder should know about background verification.
A bad hire can may cost more than the slow hire.
Okay, very well. So thank you so much, Sanyam, for your beautiful insights about this process. We went too deep into it and we understood, we got to know more about this process. I hope our audience can reach you if they get to know some answers from you. So
Sure.
thank you so much, Sanyam, for
Thank you
this.
so much, Prabhat.